Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and I'm alongside Tyler, my co-host. And welcome to episode 58. And boy, do we have a good episode for you. We have Jake Theut coming on the show. Jake currently plays for the Norfolk Admirals, and he played this past season for the Norfolk Admirals in the Greenville Swamp Rabbits in the ECHL, and is playing the SPHL for the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs in the SP. And he also played NCAA Division I hockey for Northeastern University and the University of Alabama Huntsville. Welcome to the show, Jake Theut. Jake, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm real excited about this. Should be a good one.
Yeah, no problem. We're excited to have you. So let's just hop right into this.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So you started your junior career in 2011, 2012, where you started with the Boston Bulldogs in the ATJHL. So what was that first season of junior hockey like for you?
It was definitely an adjustment. I was, playing high school hockey in Michigan, and I had an opportunity to go to the OHL with Saginaw Spirit, and it kind of blew a lot of people off. When I was younger, I was kind of set on that way. So I kind of put myself behind the eight ball, and I came out to the Boston area for a tournament, and their coach saw me, and he really liked what I had to offer. His name was Mike Odessa. He was a NHL scout for a long time and coach at RPI, and he believed in me, and he thought I could really make moves in my career. And it was tough, but it really made me mature real quickly that first year of junior.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry about that. My phone is ringing really quick.
No, you're good. No worries.
So you said you were behind in the eight ball. So what do you do to get yourself back to where you should be, and
Wow.
progress from there?
Yeah, I was getting a ton of emails from USHL guys calling and North American League, but I had the big carrier of the OHL in front of me, and once I didn't make that, I kind of had to almost reinvent myself, and I really turned myself into a hardworking player, hardworking guy, where I was known for, going to work every day and showing up and performing. So I kind of had to almost reinvent myself because I did kind of blow people off. So that was one mistake I wish I was more knowledgeable about, but hey, learn from it and you got to move forward.
Yeah, that's for sure. So what were some of the adjustments you had to make during your first year in juniors?
Oh, well, I think a big thing with juniors is, when you have a billet family, and if you have a great billet family, I think that helps ease things a lot. And the Brooks family, they were really good, and they kind of, took me as one of their own, and I think they really helped me too, and because they're a good support system because they've seen guys, play. They hosted many players before, and they kind of gave me pointers on things to look at, look forward, understand better. So I think they were a major catalyst in my development, my first billet family. So I think just learning from different guys kind of really helped me be better. I was kind of trying to be like a sponge, my first year. I didn't say too much. I just, showed up to practice every day and kind of build my reputation that way.
Yeah, you just soaked everything up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you said that you enjoyed your billet family. So, were you nervous going into your first billet family?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How was that?
I mean, that was a very interesting time. I drove all the way from Detroit to New Hampshire, and they had a son and a daughter, two daughters, and they were waiting outside right as I pulled up. And I think that kind of really impressed me, and they were really excited for me to have there. So it was definitely a change of pace because it wasn't something I was used to. So it was you got to learn, because after a while you can only put on a face for so long, right? So you make it, if you want to really be an impact at the house, you got to always do the dishes, always do the, take out the trash. You can't do it for a week or so, right? So
Yeah.
I think it really kind of made me just it makes you mature real quick. So it was a great experience for me.
Could you say that overall everything you just mentioned as a whole learning from new players, soaking all that information in, like you said, like a sponge. Is that your kind of way of like reinventing yourself as a plair once you got to Boston?
Oh, 100%. And that's the kind of same thing I did at Northeastern too. I redshirted my freshman year, and I had Clay Witt there. He was one of the returning, top goalies in the country, for the Richter, and Derek Waugh too. And I just learned from them. I mean, I think that's the best way. As soon as you get into a new environment, is you kind of just sit back, take it all in, and then you kind of make adjustments that fit to what your style is or how you want to live your life. And because those guys that are there before you, they've been through it, right? So you kind of want to pick your spots, pick what they think is effective, and then you kind of make your own ideas too. So I think it's very beneficial the first year anywhere you're at, going to junior, going to college, you kind of lay low and kind of absorb everything in too.
Yeah, so you said you were drafted by the Sarnia Sting, I believe it was. So like, what was like your draft story like?
I wasn't drafted. I went to camp for Saginaw Spirit. They told me I was the surprise of the camp. I really, I made a statement right away. Their goalie coach, Randy Wilson, he was very high on me, and they took Jake Patterson. He was drafted by Detroit, and some big Czech kid. I don't think he ever panned out, but everything happens for a reason, and I think that whole process, as soon as they started talking to me, it kind of, I was just playing Michigan high school hockey, right? And I mean, now it's getting a lot bigger, but at the time, when you got that carrot in front of you, you kind of, you work harder, and you kind of, I don't know, it's pretty big time, for especially in the shoes I was in. So it was definitely a learning experience. Everything that happens, I feel, either playing or outside the rink, I try to learn from it, right? So
Yeah.
each situation presents its own challenges, and from there you kind of learn and make yourself better for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you went to the open camp, like, what did you have like high expectations for yourself, or you just go out there and show what you could do?
I thought I was going to make it. I mean, if you go into a situation like that where you don't think you're going to succeed, that's you probably shouldn't be in this business. But no, it was very, they told me I had a legit chance, and they took two. I was the third guy, and it's when Jake Patterson outperforms you. He didn't let one goal in, and Brandon Sod scored on me in camp. That one goal, is that going to be the differential? I don't know. But you got to perform too, right? So you can't just think you're going to succeed, right? You got to show up and perform every day.
Yeah, exactly. So then that next year, you split the season between the Null and the GOJHL with St. Mary's Lincolns. So what was your experience like in the Null with Odessa?
So story behind that is Connor Hollybuck. We always play against each other all the way from squirts all the way up through high school. We were always kind of competing, amongst each other. And, our senior year, because we're both 93s, I won Michigan Goalie of the Year, and, he didn't. Kind of a little weird brag there. But it's just we always had that, competitiveness. And he went to Odessa right after high school. And he succeeded very well, got drafted and all that, and he recommended me to go down there. They had a really good coaching staff and all that, so they are a really firm believer in me, and I was able to get there. But our team wasn't really too hot. I mean, I think they had only 6 wins the whole year, and I would have had 2 of them, but one game I got kicked out in the Null showcase for giving a guy a separator. I mean, it wasn't violent. I cup checked the kid right in front of the net on a 5-on-3 because this guy was like in my crease and the ref wasn't doing anything about it. So, yeah. So I had to do something, and then I got kicked out of the game. I mean, it wasn't the kid was like rolling around, like, it happens, more than you think, right? And
yeah.
So the ref kicked me out, and the coach didn't really like that after that, and I was kind of like, come on, like. So I would have had 2 of the 6 wins, and I was only there for like a month. I didn't even play for like 3 weeks after that, 4 weeks. But So then they traded me because I had to play, right? So they traded me all the way up to St. Mary's. I mean, that was also, that really – I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me because it exposed me to Steve McKeegan and Jason Vance Bronson with Future Pro. And I feel after I kind of got – because they were our goalie coaches for our team because we were the London Knights Junior B team. And I feel like they took my game to the next level after I went there. So I'm actually really satisfied and really blessed that, Odessa got rid of me because I don't think my game would have got to where it is now without them.
Yeah, for sure. That's the Null South for you. I've heard all these interesting stories that coming from the South Division.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I couldn't believe I got kicked out of the game. I was like, as a goalie, I'm like, great, here it is. Here I am getting recruited by like a couple schools, and it's like, come on. Like I couldn't get a bounce. Legit for my first 2 years after high school, I couldn't get a bounce, and I was just like, man, this is tough and all that. So it was, once again, learning experience, right? No more cup checks.
Yeah, and you learn from that. So it's always a learning curve there.
That's right.
So you went to St. Mary's Lincoln's then. And you played in 20 games. So what was the difference from playing in the short time you had in the Null to playing the GOJHL?
I mean, it was kind of it was almost very similar. Null South is back then it was really gritty and a lot of skill too. I mean, Junior B in Canada too is still very good hockey. You got a lot of guys that are drafted in the O and guys that get sent down from the OHL. I mean, some guys are younger, but your older guys are mean. We had a couple guys on St. Mary's that were kicked out of the OHL. Kyle Flemington and Dean Palauchuk. This kid was crazy. He went on. We were playing in St. Thomas. This kid went on the other guy's bench and started spearing guys. So it was something else, man. It was just nuts. So but we weren't too hot either. And as soon as I got there, they traded all the way our 20-year-olds. So we had like 15, 16-year-olds, and I was just getting peppered every game. So, I mean, once again, my story, right? Just not getting the luck. But once again, out of that, Steve McKeegan and Jason Vance Bronson was Future Pro. They really turned my game around.
Yeah. So what was it like getting coached by the guys that work at Future Pro, like Steve McKeegan?
Oh, those guys are great. I mean, I think they're so on top, right? Like when you're in Toronto and that area, those guys, they eat, breathe, sleep hockey, and they got the experience, they got the knowledge, and to get you to where you want to be, and they did that for me too. So nothing but props, and that's why I'm still associated with them. I help do lessons, I help out with camps too in the summers with them because they did a lot for me. So it's I like giving back, and those guys put their necks out for me, and I'm gonna do the same for them.
Yeah. So what's it like in being an instructor with them?
It's unreal. It's professional. Steve, he's played in the NHL, and he knows what to take. And I love about him is he tells you exactly how it is. No sugarcoating anything. It's just like that's kind of who I am too. I like very dry, blunt. It's right to the point. And maybe you're sucking one day, he's gonna tell you, hey, you suck. You gotta work on this. You gotta do that. And goalie, you got to put a lot of work in because it's not a sport. It's not a position where you can just go out there and play, right? It's a lot to it, off ice workouts, be more technical, watching film. It's a very precise position. So it's definitely learn a lot. So their impact on my game has been instrumental.
Yeah. So when you do go to the Future Pro and being an instructor, what do you try to teach the kids and hope they learn from you?
I think it's the thing I kind of preach is you got to show up every day, right? I like being called blue collar and an everyday guy, and I take a lot of pride in that, and I kind of preach to the kids. The kids are tired and all that, and hey, you still got to show up because one day, especially now in pro, it's each week you can be let go, sent, traded, or whatever. So you got to get it into your brains now, you got to show up every day. And I think kids don't really understand that yet. And I think when they get to that level, I think they'll appreciate that more, where you got to produce, because if you don't, they'll find someone else to do it, so it's that's a big thing I preach, and kind of situational awareness too, with different situations, how to read plays. That's the biggest thing. No one, what's the old saying where no one can no one can skate faster than a pass puck, so you kind of gotta know where the puck's going. And I think a big thing with that too is just watching hockey too. I mean, a lot of people now are always on their phones, on Twitter or Instagram, whatever. Watch games. You got the NHL Network, you got NHL.com. You can pull up clips and just watch and see what they do, right? And kind of just sponge it up, like I kind of mentioned earlier, where you understand how, like, Fleury, text certain situations. If you agree with it, you put it in your toolkit. So I think that's a big thing too that I teach with them, the kids.
Is there any other things that motivate you to, like you said, perform at that highest level no matter what? Because, like you said, despite not knowing if you're going to get traded the next day or someone else to take your spot, is there anything else that motivates you to that level to always perform to your highest ability?
Oh, there is one thing, and I'm a big guy on, I don't know, because I just got my master's in psych, so I'm kind of all about picking the right words. And a lot of people say prove people wrong, right? Like, oh, I want to teach this coach, he made a mistake. No, I'm not about that. I'm more about proving people right. So I'm more about the people that go to bat for me, have supported me ever since day one, have supported me through the tough times. I think that what drives me more is where I want to prove the few people that have believed in me throughout all this. And if I don't show up, or if I'm not motivated for that, people speaking on your behalf, I think that's more powerful than just trying to prove someone wrong. I mean, that's so, like, it's great and all, but I just don't think I'd rather prove people right, prove the people that believe in me.
Yeah,
that's just for me. That's just, I mean, some people prove people wrong T-shirt line and all that, and yeah, it's great and all, but I like proving people right, and be like, yeah, those guys believed in me, I do it for them too, and I don't know, just kind of my mindset on it.
Yeah, that's a great point, because a lot of people are like, I'm gonna prove the people wrong, but like, you gotta, like.
Well, okay, say you win a game, right? Then what? All right, yeah, you beat that coach. Now what?
Yeah.
He still goes to bed to his family, all that, right? Like,
Yeah,
you can only prove so many people, quote unquote, wrong. There comes to a point where you got to start, hey, this circle believes in me, I want to do it for these guys, because if the people didn't believe in you before, they're not going to believe in you after. That's just the way it is. So that's kind of my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, so you just gotta surround yourself with people that actually believe in you, and just do
exactly.
it for them.
Small circles, man. If you got too big of a circle, you can't please everyone. Do the kind of people that believe in you, and that's kind of what I've learned, especially at NU too. Like, we had a lot of big name guys, and they have small circles. We're all in that small circle category where you don't want to bring anyone that doesn't have the same beliefs, values, work ethics as you. Kind of bring you down, and it's the choice you make when you try to play professional sports, right? Like, where not everyone believes or understands on how hard you got to work and the sacrifices you got to make, but the people that do, you got to ride with them, so.
Yeah, exactly. And quarantine was really big for a lot of people, because like you could just settle in, just refocus.
Yeah, exactly.
Get all the injuries like healed. And watch clips. Like, that's all I've been doing, is watching clips and
exactly
check out different things that these goalies do and try to get better at that.
So that's awesome. It's, use your time wisely, right? Like, time's money, right? So,
yeah.
Kind of like every day I kind of go for like a half hour. I mean, I'm not talking about exhausting yourself watching film, 4 or 3 hours a day, but it's just, as soon as you accumulate that knowledge over time, it's so beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. So you played a lot of games with St. Mary's. You played 20. So, like, what was it like being played more than you're used to? And, like, how do you prepare yourself for more games?
Oh, I was just, once again, I kind of went with that too. I learned, about health, nutrition, staying away from the booze. I mean, that's all that stuff, right? Your body's a temple. And, some of my buddies, we we claim our bodies as Ferraris, right? And you can't be putting, we call bubble gum, right? You can't put bubble gum in a Ferrari, right? So you gotta, treat your body like it's your tool, right? You're not gonna put no oil in your car, right? So you got to put the right foods, hydrate, just taking care of yourself, trying to stay away from situations and get you in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. So then the next season you played in the EHL for the New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. Played 28 games, 2.1 goals against average, and you played in 12 playoff games. So like, what was your experience playing in New Hampshire for the Junior Monarchs?
That was awesome. That was formerly the EJ, and at that point in my career, I had my eyes set on college, and I felt they were the best place to get me the most, out there. Just being in New England, there's so many schools, Division I, Division III, and being in a good league. I had to go there. They offered me a lot of games, and I had to take it up. I felt like I played Division I, and I was supposed to go to Maine halfway through my last year junior there, and they pulled the plug on me right before. And then Northeastern came around, and I took up on them. So it's definitely been a grind, but it's definitely a learning experience, especially with the Monarchs. But no, the Monarchs are awesome. Coach Frew and Coach Golden that was there. World class, and they care so much about their guys and promoting them to the next level. And I would recommend them 110%. And it's just such a great organization and culture up there. It's a guy would not be wise to not play there if they're not in the USHL or the North American League.
Yeah, for sure. So you also played 12 playoff games that season. So like, what's it like playing the playoffs? Because like playoffs.
Playoff hockey's the best, man. It was fun. We had for the East Coast, I think we had a pretty good fan base too. We sold out the rink and all that, so it was real fun, man. It was, and it really tests your mental, capability too, right? And dealing with the big time pressures and big games. I mean, I think we swept our first round, and we went to, I think it was best of three, like semis. We went to the third game there, and then we lost in game 5. The signing game in triple overtime. So it was definitely, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, but I wish we would have won the championship.
Yeah, for sure. So what's it like dealing with the pressure, and like how do you like ease yourself and not like get so caught up with the pressure?
So I kind of got a little thing where, the puck doesn't know that there's 10,000 people. Obviously there wasn't 10,000, but it's just a little saying I have that, the puck doesn't know that there's 10,000 people in the stands. The puck doesn't know that it's game 5. And I just kind of worry one shot at a time, right? Just make sure I play my game, keep it simple. I mean, if you think too much, think about the big time pressure and all that, that's just going to swallow you. So you just got to one shot at a time, and the puck doesn't know. The puck doesn't know if it's, goalie skate or, there's a signing game in playoffs. So that's kind of a simple thing I got where I've kind of really utilized that over time.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great point too, because I feel like when pressure hits, like a lot of time people overthink everything, like overthink like the next shot, and then you're down like 2-0, 3-0 right away, and then you're in
exactly. If they do score, it's not the end of the world, It's hockey, it happens, so you gotta just when they score, you flush it away. Kind of like with my younger kids, teaching, I kind of just say, hey, it's like a toilet, right? You just flush it away, let it go, and you don't see it again, right? So just kind of flush it. I like having little like fun things like that to kind of remind you that it's not the end of the world when they score a goal.
Yeah. Yeah, so then so you were awarded the EHL first team All-Star and the Goaltender of the Year award. So like what did it mean to you, and like how hard did you work to achieve those awards?
I think it was, kind of, you guys kind of understand where all the hardship I kind of went through, and I was finally getting the publicity, I guess you could say, and being recognized for all my hard work. So it was a great feeling getting, coaches in the league voting you as a first team All-Star and goal of the year. It's a great thing. And that's a big thing. Just don't give up, right? Like I could have gave up so many times, but I just keep on going, kind of be numb to all that stuff and just never giving up. So it was a great feeling at the time.
Yeah, that's awesome because like
Thank you.
you faced bumps in the roads at the beginning of your career, and then finally get noticed and get these awards. It must
exactly
be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So it was great. I couldn't be more happy for myself and my family and my circle that they believed in me, and I kept keep plugging away at it, never giving up.
Yeah, exactly. You could have given up a ton of times before, but you didn't. You kept going.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then you went on to play college hockey at Northeastern University for 4 years.
Yeah.
You redshirted your first year. So, like, what made you pick Northeastern compared to all the other schools?
Oh, I mean, I had like 3 or 4 schools after the main thing kind of exploded in my face, but no, it was you got the bean pot. You're in Boston, downtown Boston. Our senior year apartment, we could watch baseball games from our apartment at Fenway Park. Like we could watch the big screen. It's like just the opportunity there. Playing college hockey in Boston, you couldn't get anything better than that. And I think not being on a like traditional campus was so much better because then you're kind of in the real world too, like within the city. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I wish I would have played more there, but it's just part of the situation when you go to a Hockey East team where they got to produce and they got to they got to make decisions, because you got to win, right? And they felt they could do it better in other directions, but it also kind of made me work harder too, because Coach Madigan was really, he was high on me, but he said, hey, every day is your game right now. And I took that to heart, and I showed up every day. And I think that's what made me into the way I am now, where I'm playing pro consistently now. So it's once again, it's a learning thing, right? Like, yeah, was I not playing? Yeah, could I be pissed at the coach? Yeah, but that's not going to help me long term. Where kind of just went with the flow and got better every single day. I try to get better, 1% better every day, and I think by the time my career was done at NU, I think people really starting to understand that. Where I shut out Notre Dame my first game, and the damn Zamboni broke down and melted a hole in the ice after the second period. Like, just another, bad break. It's just so frustrating. But once again, it is what it is. But I had to keep going and show up every day. So Northeastern was a no-brainer for me, and it was a great spot. And I have so many lifelong friends I'm going to have out of that university, and having a great education too. You couldn't beat it.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, you really wanted to play more games, but I think you handled the situation a lot better than most people would, because you get down on each other on themselves, and then it's a downward spiral from there.
Oh yeah, I mean, they would cut probably a guy or two every year, and I did not want to be one of those guys. So if I wasn't playing, my practices were my games. My senior year. I think maybe it was my junior. Adam Gaudette goes, if you could score on Toity, you score in the game. And I think that was, for me, that was a very, at the time, a very, strong compliment that kind of really pushed me to keep going too, and so every time God scored, he scored at me at least once in practice that week, because he was convinced by it. So a couple of times, I let him score, kind of give him the confidence up a little bit, get him ready for the weekend. But no, it was great.
Yeah. So since you didn't get a lot of playing time, so would you just like stay after practice a lot, get extra reps?
Oh yeah, I would stay on the ice until I was the last guy off the ice every day. If it was Dylan Sakura, Nolan Stevens, Zach Aston-Reese, any guy, I would be out there taking one-timers, breakaways, whatever they wanted to do. I did it because I know these guys are going to go far, and I want to get better. And we're a very competitive group too, where I lived with Sicky and Dylan Sakura and Nolan Stevens for 4 years, and if they score on me, I heard about it the rest of the night. So I did not want to hear it from them, and I didn't rub it in their face as much. I did a little times here and there, but it was very competitive. And I think that what made us all better too.
Yeah. So if younger goalies are listening to this, like, you would 100% suggest staying on the ice to get those extra
Every
reps
day.
in every day?
Every day. If I'm not starting, I'm the last guy on the ice. Every practice, even in pro now, I'm the last guy. I mean, there's some guys that, like, I physically sometimes I can't just stay out there and I got to manage myself too, but I am always – I'm at least the last goalie on the ice.
Yeah.
And, like, unless you're, like – I'm not a hardo with it either, though. You know, if a guy's picking up the pucks and I help out, you know, I'm not, you know, skating around the guy to be the last one off. I mean, but yeah, I suggest heavily to stay on the ice as long as you can, as long as you physically believe you can stay out there for without getting hurt, because you get better. Just push yourself. You know, as you get tired, your brain gets fatigued, right? You gotta. What happens in the game? You get tired. The other team just stop coming down and shooting at you. No, you gotta kind of almost train yourself to fight through that fatigue to stop more pucks.
Yeah. So you guys also at Northeastern, you guys won the NCAA Hockey East Championship. So what was it like winning the championship?
Oh, that was fun. That was my sophomore year. We won like 20 some odd games in a row. We started 0-10, and after that, you know, Ryan Ruck won 20 whatever it was in a row, and I didn't sniff the ice, but hey, our team was succeeding, and you know, I kept going out there, going to practice, showing up every day, and it was a great excuse me. It was a great time, man. We it was a great night after winning that. That's for sure. So it was fun.
Yeah, I could only imagine the fun after.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. So then you went to the University of Alabama, Huntsville.
Yep.
Your 5th year. So
yeah, so I had a graduate year because I redshirted my freshman year, so I had that 5th year option, and our goalie coach at NU really believed in me, and he knew the goalie coach down in Huntsville, and they were looking for another guy to kind of come in and help mentor one of their younger guys, Mark Sinclair, and I came in. And, you know, obviously I wasn't gonna play every game because they were pretty committed to him, but once again, it was kind of like the same old story. It was like a really bad team. We only won a handful of games all year, and it was frustrating, man. I almost, you know, towards the end there, I almost didn't want to play anymore because it's just like, how many bad breaks am I going to face? You know, and it was stressful, but, you know, I had to fight through it, man. You know, I kind of a couple of those days where you're, you know, getting smoked by Minnesota Mankato, and you just got to remember, hey, like, people believe in you. You got to keep going. You know, I got to keep going. So I just stayed the course, you know, fought through it. You know, I think I led the country in 40-plus save games that year. I think I had 6. So it was – I mean, we were losing like 5-1, 5-0. You know, I was still making 40-some-odd saves a night. So it was – I mean, it was frustrating on that regard because it's still – I had over a 4 with, you know, close to a 900 save percentage. It's unheard of, you know. So it's kind of the old story, but you got to keep going, right? So
exactly,
you know, people will notice you, and I think that's what happened. You know, with Huntsville, they exposed me to a lot of, you know, pro opportunity, and I you know, capitalized on it. You know, from there I you know, went to Springfield's camp in the American League right after. You know, then pro's another story, but it's been hard, but you got to keep going.
What would you say the biggest adjustment was for you from transitioning to or from Northeastern in Boston to down south in Alabama?
Oh, well, the biggest thing for me is I understood real quick that I wasn't in a Hockey East program anymore. I mean, Hockey East, it's big time, right? You got the Bean Pot where you sell out the TD Garden with 18,000 people in it. You know, you got the student sections and all that, and just the facilities. You know, NU is a beautiful campus, all that. I'm not trashing Huntsville, but you know, the budget isn't there at Huntsville like it is in other places, right? So, you know, we had to drive to the rink. You know, everything wasn't on campus. You know, so it was kind of. I felt like it was kind of junior-ish, but I think now that, you know, they had the fundraiser to kind of save the program and all that, I think they're making a transition board and all that. And I think it's going to be great because I think they're going to make it more, you know, Division I-ish. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to trash them or anything. It's just, it wasn't where it should be.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
and it just, when you're spoiled playing Boston College and BU every weekend, it's just different. And I think there's something wrong with it either, though. But it's you learn quick that you had it really nice at other places too. So you kind of had to take full advantage of it. Just it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So yeah, you played 12 games with University of Alabama Huntsville, and you played 5 games at Northeastern. So like, what was it like playing more with the Chargers? And even though it wasn't like the Big East, but like, or the Hockey East, but like, what was it like?
With Alabama, I mean, our guys really worked hard, and it's kind of a very blue collar group, and we didn't really necessarily have the high end skill like other teams would have. But so it was a challenge every weekend. We knew that we were the underdog, but we wanted to go in and kind of disrupt things, right? And we kind of we had our game plan set, and Coach Corbett really had a good foundation and game plan for us going into each weekend, and we tried battling it out every night, and I give a lot of credit to those guys because as many times we got knocked down, we still showed up and competed every night.
Yeah, so how big of a confidence booster is that when your team is just pushing and pushing every single game?
I mean, it's you can't beat it, right? And it's very complimentary, and guys, we knew the situation we were in, and we just kind of fought through it together. It was awesome to see, and we had a lot of team meetings and all that stuff trying to fix things, and they kind of started kind of trying to start turning around, and we kind of did. We were respectable, so it was good. I thought it was good for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. So that in the past couple months, University of Alabama Huntsville said that they're cutting the hockey program. So like, what was that like hearing for that, especially since you played for them?
It was a shock actually when I saw it broke on Twitter. I mean, I didn't even know that was kind of even in the plan. I mean, they had a meeting with all the players, like all the administrative end, but I didn't think they were gonna terminate the program. I think that was a shock, and a lot of guys were surprised by it too. Because we got our boosters were really awesome there, and they got the university a $1 million gym, and it was beautiful. And I thought the place was going in the right direction, and Coach Corbett was getting the right guys in there, and I was shocked. And then I was even more shocked that they said, "Hey, you got to raise $1 million or what, 750,000, wherever it was, in a week." I mean, that's crazy, right? And,
yeah.
They have a really good following, and people really support the program, and it kind of showed the university like, hey, you got to start putting this program as a higher than what it was, value wise at the university, because I felt we weren't getting enough money to properly assess. Before a playoff game, we didn't even get lunch. We only had breakfast. Like, how are you supposed to perform at Minnesota Mankato without lunch? So it was kind of suspect, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's good about the following. How the support, how close the fans are, and everything in there.
It's awesome. It's great. People really care about hockey in the South. It's a great game, and the South people are so awesome, so nice. It goes hand in hand with hockey.
Yeah, for sure. So looking back at like your whole college career, what was one of your favorite memories from playing college hockey?
On the ice or off? I mean, off the ice, there's so many of them. In Boston with Marathon Mondays, the season's over, and you kind of just you don't have to worry about hockey and just have a great time with your teammates. But I think the best memory was after we won the Bean Pot. That was the first time in 30 years we won it at NU in my senior year, and our bus broke down underneath the TD Garden, and we thought that was a little fake news kind of setup where our coach didn't want us partying too hard that night. And so we sat underneath the TD Garden for an hour, and our team bar the line was out the door, and our senior captain stepped up and said, "Hey, make it happen, get us there," because we had to wait for a bus. That takes forever, right?
Yeah.
So coach got on the phone with the NU police, and they came, picked us up, and we rode to the bar. Lights and sirens with the Bean Pot, and all seniors in the same cop car, and showing up to that was I think that was awesome. That was probably my best memory.
Yeah, that just seems like so much fun, especially playing in TD Garden. It's like, well, how is it like playing in TD
Oh,
Garden?
it's awesome, man. It's it's NHL rink, right? And you can't beat that. Playing. It was awesome, man. Going flying through the city, and everyone's looking where are all these cop cars going? But it's all the boys, jammed into
Always
4 or
got a
5 cop
bag.
cars. So it was awesome. So it was good then.
Yeah. So then after your final season with the University of Alabama Huntsville, you said you went to the Springfield camp in the AHL. So like, what was that experience like?
I mean, it was awesome. It was Carmine Guerrero, one of the old Huntsville goalies. He reached out to me, and they were interested in me bringing me to camp. I accepted it, and I had to go probably really quick. It was kind of almost like a last minute kind of thing, and um, it was awesome. I'm playing with some of these great players, and it kind of exposed me, not exposed in a negative way, but exposed me to the level to where I want to be at, where how hard you got to work, how better prepared you got to be going into camps and situations like that with pro hockey. So, I didn't get to dip my toes in. I got thrown in the water right away, so it was a great experience.
Did you play any preseason games?
I played in the first preseason game. I was able to do that, and then after that, who got sent down? Rogers got sent down, so that kind of bumped me out because I was the last guy not under contract there. So it was it is what it is. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Yeah, for sure. So how is it playing the preseason game?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, wearing an American League jersey with NHL patches on your shoulder, it puts that carrot in front of you. It gets really close, So it was awesome. It was almost surreal. I just tried soaking it in.
Yeah, for sure. And just to have the NHL patches, it's like you're one like step away from playing.
Yeah, it really opened your eyes to how quick you can elevate in the pro level.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you got sent down and you played the first part of this past season with Renault Rail Yard Dogs in the SP. So
Yep.
what was it like trying to find a team that would
So
then,
I was in so it kind of, once again, Steve McKeegan, a future pro, he was really supportive, and he kind of knew the coach at Roanoke. That's how you say it. And Coach Bremer there, he kind of it was kind of untested waters, right, where I didn't have a lot of games comparatively to other guys in college, but my game was higher than them, so it was kind of tough for him to make a decision. We had 3 guys for a while, and then he released me for a weekend just for the roster space, and he brought me back, and I lost against Knoxville Ice Bears for one game, lost 3-2, and then he cut me again. He cut me twice, and our team, we were in last place and all that, and it was very frustrating. And I saw them; they lost like 7-0 a game later. I drove all the way home, and I texted him. I called him out. Said, "Hey, you're making a mistake, and if you don't bring me back, you probably lose your job because you're in last place." I said that. I mean, I was kind of crazy, but I had to. It was my livelihood, and I thought I could play. And the next day after, and they lost again, and he called me back, and he said, "Hey, all right, I'll bring you in." And after that, we kind of took off as a team. We started coming along and start winning games, and then that's eventually got called up to Greenville.
Yeah, what was it like for you to have that down experience of getting cut multiple times, but then when you find a new home, you said you guys really started to find a rhythm. So what was it like having that down period, but then having that period where you're right back up there?
Yeah, it was very unique because if you're getting cut in pro, right? Like, you're not texting the coach, and I felt that I said, fuck it, basically. So I don't know if I can swear on your guys' pod here, but
That's all good. Go for it.
I just what I had to lose, right, at that point, where I what I had to lose. I had nothing to lose. I was either done, or I send this guy a text, call him out for his job. So I called him out. I said, I want to still play, and I thought I could play. And when the guys are all banging their sticks and so happy to see you back, it kind of reinforces the fact that the coach made the right decision where guys believed in me more than the other guys. And, hey, it is what it is, and don't learn from it, right? So it was that week when I was off, I'm a big deer hunter, so I got a deer at my cousin's farm. And so it was really it was crazy. It was a crazy time. It was with 1 week I was so low, and then I got a deer and I was high again, but I was like still at the same low point, and then I had to go back and play hockey again. So it was crazy. It was a crazy time.
Yeah, that's awesome that you called them out and then they brought you right back up. Like
once again, I had nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose. That was my viewpoint. That's what my dad told me. He's like, "Hey, what do you have to lose right now? You're done. You got to get like a 9 to 5 where you stand up for yourself." I said, "All right, stand up for myself."
Stand up
so
for yourself.
yeah,
That reminds me of Jordan Binnington, what he did to get.
Same kind of thing. You gotta, if you believe in yourself so bad, you gotta put your neck out, right? Like no one else is gonna do it. You gotta do it. So I don't recommend doing that for people to do, but hey, if you feel like you got to do it, do it. I mean, but then you got to back it up. That's the thing. And then my first game, we played Huntsville, the Havoc, at home, and we lost 2-1 in overtime by I think it was over 40 some odd saves.
Wow.
So and I came down the tunnel, and I kind of did like a "you like that" kind of thing, like Kirk Cousins did to our coach Bremer, and I was fired up, man. But then I apologized to him the next day. I was like, "Hey, I can't be, have my emotions get the best of me." But he said, "Hey, it's all good. Like it's a business. I understand." So we kind of just wiped it out. We buried the hatchet, like he said, and we went from there. So it was awesome. It was for me, it's a great learning thing too. Where if you do call someone out, you better back yourself up, because if you don't, then you look like you just look like an idiot. So it was a learning thing, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like you were tired of this shit going on, so you backed it up. So that's
you have to in that regard. Like that's what my dad said too. He's like, "Hey, all right, they're bringing you back, but you better play good. If you don't, then you're just done." So it was good. It's a good learning thing.
Yeah. So then you went on to play a dozen games for the Dogs. So what was it like? What was it like getting that first pro win?
Oh, it was awesome, man. I think it was against Knoxville. Yeah, it was. And once again, kind of get punched in the face so many times with this hockey stuff, and you finally get the first pro win, and you really got to just soak it in. And I remember sitting in my locker just looking at the damn puck for so long. It's crazy, and how when you face so much adversity, when you get a taste of a little success where you're like, yeah, this is good and all, but you still got to show up, right? You're not in the NHL yet, so you gotta keep going. That's the ultimate goal, right, for any goalie, hopefully. And it tasted good for that night, but then you got to realize, hey, it's pro. You got a game in a couple of days anyway, so you gotta get it over it quick and get right back to it.
Yeah, you just got to get right back to work after that.
Yeah.
So were you nervous during like your first game? Like how'd you settle down?
I wasn't. I mean, you always get the pregame jitters, right? Listen to Thunderstruck, AC/DC, you're getting her going, and but yeah, it was. I don't know. Once again, I kind of like how I talked about before, just one shot at a time. I don't overthink it. Stick to what I know. Stick what I'm good at. And, I kind of use that approach for everything. So it all works out. That's just one. I don't really get nervous anymore because I'm numb to that stuff now, just because all the BS I had to go through, right? So it's just more of just stopping the puck. If you don't stop the puck, then you're done, So it's stop the puck one shot at a time.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. I like that like saying that you have.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Yeah. So then you eventually find yourself to Greenville to the Swamp Rabbits or the East Coast. It's like that must have been a huge confidence booster for especially going to Greenville and playing in a level higher. So like how was that?
Oh, it was great, man. And Greenville had 2 affiliates, and so it's kind of, I was from Springfield. I was supposed to go to Greenville, but Greenville had Bednard there, and they had Helvig from Carolina, so there was really no spot for me there. So that's why I had to go to the SP. But I produced, and they called me up, and it was great. I mean, I remember my first game. We were playing in Norfolk actually, and that we got out the win or whatever. and I had to follow the bus home all the way because I had my car with me. So that was crazy. I mean, I drove all the way to Norfolk, practice, next day game, and then I had to drive after the game all the way down to Greenville, following the bus back. Yeah, it was brutal. But, hey, once again, I was mile high. I was like, hey, I'm getting one step closer to my dream, so I got to fight through it. And Coach Kerr was awesome, too. He really believed in me, and he wished he would have played me more, but he couldn't just because of the, Helvig was there. Bednar got called up because Dreiger's injury with his groin. And so Helvig played a lot. And I think when I went in, I made most of my opportunities. It was crazy, too, my first game with Greenville. We were playing in Orlando. We had a game the night before in Florida, Fort Myers, when Everblades. And we had a 12 o'clock game, noon on Sunday in Orlando, and the guys were just gassed, right? All the guys were gassed. I'm like, great, here's my first game in Orlando, 12 o'clock. Like, we slept on the bus going, it was just like we didn't get in till like 1 o'clock, and then slept for like 3 hours, and then had to play a game, and we lost, I think, 3-1, but made like 42 saves or something. I don't know exactly what it was. So I was just like, we lost, but I was so proud of myself, just staying to it and getting the opportunity and playing well in my first coast game. So I kind of really boosted my stock there too, because people could see that I could play. So it was, it was talk about roller coaster, huh? It's nuts, this whole hockey stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. So the Greenville Swamp Rabbits have some pretty sick uniforms as well, and a logo.
Oh, it's awesome! Yeah, they're sick. It's crazy. It's kind of funny looking, but that's minor hockey for you. I got the Rail Yard Dogs, the Swamp Rabbits. It's nice. People like, who'd you play for? The Swamp. What is that? It's just it's awesome.
Yeah. So what was it like playing in Florida? Because like you.
Oh, it was odd, man. Like even with getting dealt to Norfolk too, and it's awesome. I mean, I was down there for all winter. It was 70 degrees, wearing t-shirts, going, riding those little electric scooters everywhere in Orlando, every Fort Myers, all that. So it was sick. I wasn't playing it, but no, it's awesome. I loved it.
Yeah. So you said you're backing up Helvig. So like, what was it like backing up a ECHL guy like Helvig? Like,
I learned a lot from him. I kind of just looked at his pregame rituals, see how he conducts himself on and off the ice. I mean, he kind of had that issue towards the end there, but I'm not going to get into that. But it was great, learning from a guy that's drafted. Obviously he's doing something right? And he's a good goalie, and I just tried to, learn from him too.
Yeah, so then you get dealt to Norfolk with the Admirals, and you played in 9 games before the season got canceled. So, like, what was your time like in Norfolk, especially leading up to COVID-19?
It was great. It's kind of like the same situation I was with Huntsville, where our team wasn't the best. We were in last place, right? But I think the ownership and the coaches really try to get the right players there in Norfolk, and we did towards the end there. We won. We won our last game against Maine on the road. We won against Florida. We had some big wins. We lost, I think, 3 games in overtime since I was there. They got the right guys in there towards the end, and I was really agitated because I thought we were going to really turn things around there. And our coaches believed in me, and it was awesome. It was a great spot for me because they're not affiliated with anyone, so I didn't sit behind anyone. I played a ton. I was there for, I think, 11 total games. I played 9 of them. I really started building my resume, my pro resume, I guess you could say. And, so getting support from your coaches, not something I really, in playing regards, starting games in a while. So that was just refreshing to me, where guys understood and appreciated what I did and what I can do. And it was awesome. I love it there. Yeah.
So then COVID-19 hit. So like, how quick did everything like escalate from there?
Yeah, it was actually funny because we were in Reading right after we played up in Maine. We had practice. I forgot what day it was. And a couple of my guys I was seniors with at Northeastern play on Reading, Garrett Cockrell and Garrett Sassier. And, we were shooting the shit after their practice, and then we went on, and all this news was going on, and then that first guy in the NBA got it, and then we knew for sure if the NBA's canceling, we're going to be canceled. So we were kind of just waiting around, and right after practice, they canceled it. Probably 2 or 3 hours after, we were all at like the Mexican restaurant there. As soon as it was canceled, everyone got corona, right? Kind of was funny at the time, right? And so it was bittersweet, but I was, once again, we were going in the upward direction, and I was finally playing a ton, and so kind of once again it was another bad bounce in my regard, but gotta keep going, So
Yeah, exactly. So to cap off your first year, you moved around a lot in your first year pro. So like, how did you stay so even keeled and not get so high or low on yourself throughout all this traveling that you've had to done?
Yeah, it was like I kind of mentioned before, where I'm learning, right? Where all my experiences in junior, all my experiences in college, it kind of really prepared me for pro. All the things I just learned from being a sponge, learning from other guys, asking questions, and I think that's really allowing me to have success at the pro level, because I'm using all those things I had to learn from, and I'm utilizing it now in pro. And today I re-signed with Norfolk, so it's it's a situation where you turn negatives into positives and you just grow from it, right? And I think all my hardships are starting to pay off, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, congrats on re-signing with Norfolk. It's awesome.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you just mentioned that you said you try to turn any negatives into any positives. So going off of that note, with the season getting canceled and because of COVID, you being in Norfolk, what kind of positives could you turn from COVID-19 being a big negative for everyone?
Kind of, I think too, where using COVID is kind of like a learning thing, where I think for that first month after COVID, season, I watched all my film very detailed. Like I went through each individual shot and kind of assessed where my weaknesses are, where I can be stronger at, like physically, mentally wise. So I think you'll see success from guys if they utilize this time away from the game, like next year. And I want to be prepared, and I'm proud about my, being prepared each and every day, kind of going to games. And I think really sitting down and using my time with no hockey, no school, no work, right, and utilizing it to really evaluate my game, I think is going to help me beyond that what I thought, and because you kind of don't analyze things in detail as the season goes by, right? You got a lot of things going on and all that, and I think this really allowed me to really evaluate my game.
Yeah, for sure. So what's been like the best part of your first pro year?
Oh, I think just meeting all the guys. I mean, I met so many guys from so many different schools, so many different areas, so many regions of the world, and I think that's the beauty of hockey, where there's so many good guys around, it's just, got playing poker with guys on the road, doing certain, doing, stuff away from the rink. You kind of understand people better. And it's awesome. All the people I'm fortunate to meet. And I think that way, and I think that's what hockey's really ahead of everywhere else, where it's the relationships amongst the guys and teams are higher than other sports, I feel, for getting feedback.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a small community, but it's the best community out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you come from a hockey family. So did they have a big impact on your career, or did they let you like work on like what you're doing?
Oh, my cousin Kim, she was probably the most influential on me, and she committed to Ohio State. She played at Ohio State, and I mean, I wanted to be like her, right? And I, being an only child, I didn't have any brothers or sisters to kind of look up to, and she really gave me that, extra motivation. If she can do it, I can do it. And she's awesome. She's just a great girl and really works hard. And, she just, she's a nurse now, and she was right in the front lines of COVID and all that. So definitely my family's been tremendous. Yeah, they let me just like play it out. And because I also ran cross country. I played baseball, did track for a little bit. So I think they allowed me to see what I liked, and from there, I like playing sports. Like I play basketball all the time. I play tennis with my girlfriend, and I like being active, and I just gravitated more towards hockey.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to you there because I also run cross country and track, and I play
Nice.
baseball and I play hockey as well now.
That's
So
awesome. It's great.
just playing sports helps you be a better athlete, I believe.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so I have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So there's been a lot of ups and downs of pro hockey, like especially in like your first few years. Like how do you get over those bumps and curves in the road?
Oh, yeah, it's just, once again, you kind of gotta just stay the line, stay what works for you, maybe make adjustment here or there. But once again, you gotta just it's kind of the tough. You almost got to be numb to it, where there's going to be hiccups, but if you get out of that hiccup or that curve in the road, that road's a nice road to be on. So you kind of just gotta, hey, it is what it is. It's over. It's a learning experience. Just move forward and get better. And if say you do get cut or you do, really evaluate yourself. Look in the mirror, see what can I do better? Instead of staying up till 4 a.m. drinking beers with your buddies, like go to bed before 10. You know what I'm saying? Just like little things like that. It comes down to the individual, where you got to assess what you're doing on and off the ice and to be better. So I think that's one thing too. If things aren't going good, you're doing something wrong. So you just got to evaluate and take a deep breath too. It's not the end of the world, right? So it's just one day at a time.
Yeah, for sure. And that goes right into my next question. Like, what are some tips that you'd give like younger goalies looking to get to that next level?
Oh, well, definitely I would say it's a business. If you don't stop the puck, they'll find someone that will. So be the best, being prepared. I think that's an asset that goalies should utilize more. Watch more film, watch other goalies, even scouting and pre-scout, right? If you have the ability to watch teams before, see what their tendencies are, talk to your coaches, be on in the PK meetings, if you're doing extra with just the D or the forward, be involved with it, right? You want to be a sponge, but then utilize that information to your success, right? Where hey, the power play does this at certain times, they do this at certain times. If you know that, it gives you that half-second reaction to be better to make more saves.
Yeah, for sure. So my final question is, so you went to open camps, you stuck your neck out for yourself. So
Yeah.
like, what's like the best like way to get into like an open camp, I guess you could say,
So like in the junior level, are you saying?
or just any level in general?
I think to go into like an open camp. I mean, some of that, like an open camp, is they still invite you to go. But I think if you associate yourself, say like how like I'm a future pro goalie. I take that to heart. I really believe in that, and I think if you surround yourself with people who believe in you, they're willing to go to bat for you too, right? Where McKeegan, really got me to go to the Monarchs and really support me there to get to Northeastern, right? And I think if you build that relationship with people, it's a lot more than just stopping pucks, right? If you help people out, you help with kids, you go to the schools, do extra work, start building your brand, I guess you can say, to promote. You want more of the boxes checked off in your favor than not, right? And I think people now in teams and colleges and, pros, where they want a complete pro. They don't just want you to just be an athlete. You want to be active in the community, active with, so you got to really start building your brand at an earlier age. And from there, I think you'll get more publicity from that, to where, hey, this kid, helps out in the community. Oh, can he play? And you can see they can play. Then teams are like, wow, I wanted a guy like that on my team.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I like to get involved in the community. Like I'm like in all these like goalie group chats and all that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I also filled out like a FPHL tryout form. And
Okay.
I actually got a team in Waterton, New York, to invite me to their camp too.
Awesome. See, you gotta, if you don't believe in yourself, who will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you believe you could play at that pro level, go for it. Put your name out there. Call people. I mean, that's such a lost thing to do now. Like, call out Bremer, right? Like, it's the same thing. You gotta be willing to put yourself out there and be like, hey, I can play. And then eventually those people will find you. If you're good enough, they'll find you, right? And there's no secret code. It's just you got to put yourself out there, send emails, call people. Hey, I could play, make tape. I mean, you almost gotta like spam your name out there almost. And I was, back when I was playing junior, Twitter and all that kind of stuff wasn't really big yet, but you have so many resources now to utilize, and kids just think that everything's going to be handed to them. Like, hey, I'm going to play D1. No, there's a lot more that goes into it, right? And pro and it's the Coast. Well, the Coast is a very good league now. 10, 15 years ago, yeah, it was probably a fighting league, but there's so many guys under NHL deals in the Coast now. So you gotta produce, but put your name out there. Once again, if you don't believe in yourself, who will? So that's a big thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe in myself fully. And like people
Awesome.
tell me like you're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna be able to do that. I'm like, fuck it. I just believe in myself. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. Yeah,
exactly. Then, but you know what, too? Like I learned real quick with Roanoke. If you do that, you got to back yourself up too. Yeah. So it's a double-edged sword. But if you can utilize that to your advantage, sky's the limit.
Yeah, exactly. Those were some great tips. And Tyler, do you have anything else? Any questions you have left?
Yeah, I think I had one more. Was there a specific NHL player that you really, really liked, maybe growing up, or kind of wanted to role model yourself game-wise?
Oh, okay. No. So, being a big Detroit guy, and Dominic Hasek came to Detroit, I think it was in 2002. Well, I just started playing goalie, and I always wore 39, and he was – I loved how he played. I loved his, his helmet and his pads back in the day at the TPS Louisville, and all that. I can tell you everything. But he was very influential to me, and kind of like that video where I, poke check that guy. Same thing Hasek did to Gabrick, too. And I think him and Steve Yzerman were his leadership and cool demeanor, and so many great players that you just look up and look at. And I think for me it was definitely Hasek. Just being a goalie wise, and Yzerman kind of work ethic where you don't see him in the papers, out partying and stuff like that, and just being a true leader. Just going to work every day and showing up and doing the right thing. So I think those two guys were definitely huge influences in my career.
Yeah, I definitely wish I could have watched Hasek play for sure.
Yeah, he was awesome, man. He was challenged a lot. He played the puck really well. Scrambly-ish, obviously now a lot more guys, a lot more technical, but he was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jake, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And if you're ever in the Illinois area, we'll try to get to a game. And
yeah, sounds good, man. Definitely stay in touch, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always open to talk or anything. If you guys need anything, just let me know.
All right, yeah, sounds good.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
All right, bye-bye.